Welcome back to Sims Complete. I'm Matt Sims. He's Phil Sims. We're ready to go today. We're getting closer and closer to the draft. My microphone. I probably sound that much better now that I did that. But hey, big guy, good to see you, player. Just want to remind you here real quick that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all sports and betting action. Baseball season is full swing, and we're into the home stretch of the NBA, NHL playoffs. And there's more action on the way with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. Yeah, and with the largest selection of odds and everything from the MLB, NHL, UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for all your sports wagering. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. Big Phil, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good. Doing a lot of draft talk so far today. I got a little sore throat from it. No, but no, it's been fun. Listen, I think I'm love doing this, but also I'm kind of can't wait for the draft to be over because I've gotten tired of it too.
I hear you.
Yeah, a little bit, and so it's good. We're going to talk about quarterbacks today. A little bit of everything here. Kind of go over quarterback and see what we think, and then talk about things that we hear and just go, oh my gosh, I'll get those in as we go along because I got about everybody just about. So.
Well, you're exactly right. I agree. This is one of those long weeks in the football world because I just don't know how much more I can discuss what team needs what and where and who and all that. It gets old. But at the same time, we've been doing this now, this hypothetical conversation for almost 2 months. And it's time for it to end. It's time for us to start to see where these guys go and to see if, well, as you say, everybody has a great draft class. Everybody's happy with who they drafted. No one has a bad draft.
Oh, yeah.
Until we actually start playing games. And then we realize, all right, there was a few mistakes made here and there, but that's part of the game. But Big Guy, would you like to start our list of quarterbacks from the top and go down, or you want to go from the bottom and up?
No, we'll go from the top real quick
okay.
Way. So you talk about these quarterbacks, and even though we know he's going to go to the Tennessee Titans, we'll do a quick what do you want to say? A quick thing about Cam Ward. I heard the word, but I didn't use it. But think of it this way though, as I talk about the Giants and the draft. When the Tennessee Titans get a new general manager, they need a little bit of everything. Quarterback wasn't even on the list. And all of a sudden, what happens? Well, let's study Cam Ward. I'm sure a scout or whoever puts a thing out there and they go, well, let's keep looking. Yeah. And long story short, all right, the heck with a lot of these other things. We're going to go get the quarterback and the reason why they're looking for a quarterback, Will Levis, after 2 years. And I know it's only 2 years. But there's too many things that he did that are just not going to make you a successful quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Number one is just this. He misses way too many routine throws. And that's the number one. There's many things that we talk about quarterbacks. We'll get into that. But you got to hit the routine throws, and you got to make about 2, 3, 4 special throws every game. That's what an NFL quarterback does. Will Levis didn't do it. They studied Cam Ward. And boom, he's damn good. So why don't you give me some of the things that you think about when you talk about Cam Ward?
I think the first thing that comes to mind, too, if we're comparing a little bit of what they had compared to now what they're going to have in their quarterback room, the biggest thing to me that jumps off when you watch the tape is the fact that Will, and you've heard me say this multiple times, plays a little bit rigid. All right, plays a little too mechanical at times. No doubt there's talent there. No doubt he's a good athlete. But the rigidness and the way that he approaches the position, I think, really is a big detriment to him. And one of the things I think you notice right away when you watch Cam Ward is that there is an unbelievable fluidity in the way that he approaches the game. There's a relaxedness to him when he's playing the game. There's a very calm, cool composure when he's in the pocket, when people are around him, his ability to still throw the ball powerfully when people are around him, his ability to create space for himself. And of course, we've heard the cliche to throw from all these funny angles and all that kind of stuff. And And that's the truth of it is that Cam he has that flexibility in his game where if the play is designed well, he'll make it happen. If it's not designed well, he still has the ability to overcome those things and to manage, right, what was given to him. And I think that's where, Cam maybe doesn't give enough credit for either. The fact that, yes, when you watch the film, there are a few throws where you're like, damn, Cam, what the hell are you doing? But it's also, I think, the quote unquote heat check where he was unstoppable for the entire game. And he's like, well, who gives a damn if I throw it across the field? We still got to score 50 to win the game anyway. So let me do it. And it's not as reckless as it came across with Will Levis at times. And I think that's the difference in the two players who have similar plays on tape, but the upside for Cam, I think, is just that much more from what we saw on his college tape compared to Will Levis.
I trust Cam Ward, way above trustworthy or whatever you want to say to Will Levis. Like I said, he hits the routine throws. Right. He makes special throws every game. I love his mobility. I don't think he gets enough credit for it. Yeah. He doesn't use his mobility as much as some quarterbacks would because of one reason, because he's going to make a throw that the other guys wouldn't think of making that throw.
Right.
I don't want to hear about, arm strength's overrated. My aching rear end, it's not. It comes up, even in short throws now, it's important in the NFL. Get the ball as quick as you can to these receivers so on the short passes, they can make the first guy miss and get some extra yards. His throw downfield, here you go. He has all the arm angles. We got to just quit saying that. You know why? Because if you don't have the arm angles to make these throws, then you're not going to play in the NFL for a long time.
Right.
That I think he is. And now I'm going to go in. He's strong as hell, breaks tackles, more elusive than we give him credit for. He's not going to complete 68, 70% of his throws. Why? Because he's not going to deke it and how am I doing? I'll look at the scoreboard. I got to get some completions. No, if he has a little window 40 yards down the field, he's going to let it go. Mm-hmm. I think as I watched him during the year, I wasn't really like going, thinking great stuff. I was thinking, wow, it's really good. But when the year was over and I started watching tape and started looking at him, I went, yeah, this is different.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. The Cal game out there in California, he played there. I thought it was maybe his worst game of the year and didn't manage the game the way I thought he should and had opportunities to. And then, I go through the year and I'm watching him and going, oh, boy, I'm starting to buy in as the year goes along. And then he goes up to Syracuse to play to get into the playoffs and everything like that. And what does he do? He manages the damn game. And I watched this game and did it this way, Matt.
Yeah.
He played almost a perfect game.
Right.
Made right decisions, knew what to do, didn't take chances. And the only reason I think they lost is because the coach didn't do what he was supposed to do. But the other thing is, we talk about traits, physical traits, strong, big, really good arm, all the throws, mobile. What else would you want in a franchise quarterback? And I hear people going, and it's amazing. He's going to be the first player picked in the draft, and nobody talks about him. There's nothing there because there's other things going on out there, but people, I don't think, realized how good he was.
Yeah.
So, it's but here's the last thing. Really good baseball player in high school, shortstop, second base, did some pitching. I read where he was a really good basketball player. The University of Miami football team says, yeah, he's probably the best player on the team when it comes to basketball. Goes out to practice day one at Miami. As they're walking off the field, the coaches are going, well, hey, look what we got. And I don't even think they knew what they were getting there with Cam Ward. Not only his play, but his communication and his fitting in with the team in the right way. So,
yeah.
I don't know what else I can say.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got an attitude to him that you want in your starting quarterback. And the key that you said a really interesting thing earlier, because we know at this point that the Syracuse game for you during the evaluation was very important, and no doubt it was, because it showed you that he can play a style that matches what was needed to win that day, which is kind of what you need to do in the NFL every single week.
Right.
But the Cal game, for example, and some of the other games too. I mean, honestly, the truth is that Miami's probably a 6-6 football team if Cam Ward is not their quarterback. The other thing is that Cam, yes, did he throw the team into trouble a few times with his ability to play on that threshold of being over aggressive? No doubt. But the difference is he threw them into victory despite those things. And a lot of players you see, oh, it's just not my day. It's an L that day. Well, there was some where like, yeah, it wasn't his half, but then the second half was great and he overcame it and he still made the plays. Or he had these moments where it's like late interception, up, doesn't matter, next drive down there for a touchdown. And that's where I think Cam really separates himself as a competitor and as far as a quarterback too, is the fact that he just kept playing. He kept just throwing it. He kept being aggressive. He didn't change one thing about himself, and that's why he was successful. All right, that's enough for Cam Ward, though. We covered him enough. That's 11 minutes in. Go ahead. Finish your thought on Cam Ward.
He can pull back. You know what I mean? He's got enough arm where he can pull back. No, you can't say that about a lot of quarterbacks coming in the draft or in the NFL. You know, they got a certain window. No, Cam's got it out there. Oh, you need me to, like you just said, pull back a little? He can do that and do it well. So that I'll just say that. You're right. We talked enough about him. But you know what? We're making up for the fact that nobody talks about him the whole offseason on TV. So we're just kind of evening.
Well, yeah, the whole discussion has been about this gentleman right here, Shedeur Sanders, and number 2 quarterback ranked, by a lot of experts. And, hey, he's Deion's son. He had quite a tremendous career, starting at Jaxson State, then going to Colorado, and of course, with his father being his head coach, there's a lot of attention surrounding him and whether or not he's a first-round quarterback and all of that. Everyone's talking about this one player, and of course, when draft night comes, a lot of people will be reminded that there's 185 other players that are really good that are going to help teams win right away. But Shedeur Sanders, big guy, your thoughts going into these last few days leading up to the draft?
Okay, I hear this a lot, his size. And they act like he's some, I don't know, they talk about it like he's some small dude. I don't know. I watch him on TV. I saw him on Saturdays. I see him doing the workouts, all this, playing the games, and I don't see a small quarterback. He looks big to me. I know he was 6'1.5" his measurements, but I don't care. He plays much bigger than that. And, so many things. So what is his calling cards? Oh, people say he doesn't really have a strong arm. I don't know, Matt. I see a strong arm when I watch Shedeur Sanders. What the hell do we want? Mm-hmm. Everybody can't be one of these top 2 or 3, power throwers. He's not Josh Allen, but his arm is plenty strong enough to make any throw in the field. Right. So he has characteristics that we like to see in first-round quarterbacks. He has some of those.
Yeah,
I think his personality and attitude, once he settles into the NFL, will be a pretty good deal. I think his teammates like him and all that. So, that's just a few. I'll do this real quick. Takes too many sacks. And everybody, I know the offensive line wasn't good. Doesn't mean you got to take 89 sacks in 2 years. And a large number of those sacks were outside the pocket. So what does that tell you? Look, when you scramble outside the pocket in the NFL, if it's not there, you throw it away. Or you for 2 yards or 5 yards or whatever. But he took, I forgot the exact number, in the 20s, sacks outside the pocket. That's what it told me. Holding on the ball too long, waiting for a play. And their offense didn't do this for me. I didn't see progression reads at all. Right. Very few in all the film I watched. And what I mean by that, everybody out there, here's the first guy. If he's not open, go to number 2, go to number 3. And a lot of times you can eliminate number 1 before the ball snapped. You see the coverage, you go, hey, this is going to be, I'm going to look at 1, but it's just to get my rhythm going to turn to throw it to number 2. Right. I didn't see enough of that. So, and it's, he's got enough talent, of course, we know, to be a starting NFL quarterback, but is he worth the 3rd pick of the draft? That's what the story's about. And people still, even today, a couple of days before the draft, have him going to the Giants with the 3rd pick. I will be really, really surprised. I don't think he's the guy that goes there. The Giants, if they want him, they definitely can move back, move forward, whatever it takes to get him, and he can be your future quarterback.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's enough for Shedeur. Right? We've covered Shedeur, and the rest of the NFL and everyone else on TV is covered him. To the point of nauseum. And why? Well, because it's a polarizing topic, and of course, the more polarizing of the topic is, right, the more clicks and all that, right, to drive conversation.
Polarizing. It's because he got so much out there and everything, and then this is all people like you and me evaluating, and which there's a lot of us out there doing it, and then the NFL steps in and goes, hey, well, this is what we see. So it became polarizing because he's falling in the draft, which we've talked about. So,
right. And you know what the truth is too? We don't know, so it doesn't matter at this point. Let's just wait and see what happens. All right, now next quarterback, Jaxson Dart, Ole Miss. The old Rebels, or whatever the hell their mascot is nowadays. I don't know. But Jaxson Dart, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's boy, leading up to the draft, Jaxson Dart has risen, fallen, risen again. Now he's kind of in this weird purgatory area. Your thoughts on Jaxson Dart and his final evaluation before draft night?
Okay, the myth. Oh, he'll have a hard time associated to the NFL because he's running the tricky little whatever gimmicky offense down at Ole Miss. And okay, if it's tricky and all this other stuff, then put it in the NFL because there's a lot of damn things in there that are really good as far as the offense is concerned. I didn't look at it and say, oh, wow, this is so different from any other thing. It's got a lot of NFL qualities, and Jaxson Dart has the size. His mobility is good enough where he is a threat to run the football. His arm is solid. It's not big time like 10 guys in the NFL, but it's in the middle plus. And I think he was really, really good, in my estimation, of finding the right receiver, looking off, whatever, and then going through the progressions and getting it done in the rhythm of the play.
Right. And I would say before you go on, Cam Ward, Jaxson Dart display that more throughout the entire season last year than Shedeur Sanders in that offense. So,
no doubt.
So this might be another reason why people got attracted to Jaxson Dart early on during the evaluation, because they did see those rhythm plays and the progression, and then also the understanding of when to move and get yards with his feet.
No doubt. And you didn't see that with Shedeur very much when you watched. Very seldom.
Yeah, not as often, no.
Not as often. So those are just some of my thoughts. I think what else he did, I think he showed teams in his private workouts and his pro day and everything that there's enough ability to make all the throws and everything. And he has proven it. He was well coached at Ole Miss, that's for sure. And I think he, I'm not going to say whatever, he's ready to go. But he's going to be a guy, if you had to pick one quarterback that could start at this rookie class day one, I think it would be Jaxson Dart.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's a good eval for Jaxson. Now I'm going to switch it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe. This is another guy who has, again, a lot of people, different varying views, all that. It's all over the place, really, at this point. Big guy, Jalen Milroe, what do you see? What do you like about him? What are you concerned about in his game? His game?
Let's go what I like first. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy. I'll do it fast, too. Good size, great mobility, strong as hell, fast as hell.
Strong arm.
He can be. Arm is strong. No doubt about it. He can throw any route and rip it.
Right.
I don't see enough of it. The bad things. Leaves the pocket too early, scrambles when he doesn't have to, takes too long sometimes to deliver the ball. And I see many games, accuracy, big problem. He's strong, got a good arm, it's powerful, but I see a quarterback, the fact that we say this all the time, Matt, the fact that he can run so well and he's so good at it, why would you be a guy that wants to stand in there and go 1, 2, 3, let me find a guy? He don't like it, let's go. If he sees out of the corner of his eye as he's looking left to throw, he sees a gap, he's going to pull it down and run. So this is the guy that you got to talk about. I don't even like this kind of talk. Well, if he gets with the right club and they really polish him up for a few years or whatever, he'll be ready. Now, who do we polish or give 2 years of time to get ready to be the starting quarterback? I don't know. I'm trying to think of these guys. I can't think of them because
Jordan Love's had that example. JJ McCarthy now, of course, because of injury last year, right? He'll have that chance this go around.
I know this Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. Okay, a couple teams in history have done it, and so
Jalen Hurts.
Well, he didn't sit too long, that's for sure.
No, I know, but still, there was that little gap between being drafted and then being the guy, or at least being officially named the guy. And
Jalen, to me, it's going to be work. Okay, when you get him. So if you're getting him, you're going to be patient. Yeah, the good thing is he can play week 1. You can put him in there and be the guy for 8 plays or 5 plays or whatever. Hey, it could be just to get in there and hand the ball off, but the team thinks he's going to run the ball. So that's maybe it's a good thing for him. Mm-hmm. But I just think there's a lot of work you got to do to make him an outstanding NFL quarterback. The rawness is there, but that's the word. It's raw.
Right.
So is he a first-round quarterback in my eyes? Absolutely not.
Right.
To me, okay, if I'm that certain team and I got the right quarterback situation and I think my team's to a certain point, I take him knowing that we probably have a little time to get this to work out.
Yeah. I agree. I think first round's a little bit of a stretch for Jalen Milroe. I think it's asking too much of the gentleman as well. Because if you get drafted in the first round, I expect you to play, for at least. Now, we did just give you a few examples of that, right? It doesn't always mean that, but first-round quarterbacks, I don't expect you to sit and wait too long. Even Lamar with Joe Flacco and that transition, right? The expectations is you're going to the first round, you're going to play relatively soon, and we expect production too when you hit the field. And I think Jalen's a little bit of a stretch in the first round. No doubt, I see the same things you do, but it's going to have to take, I think, a certain team as well to really bring him along and what his strengths are and accentuating those things as best as possible as he continues to grow in these other fields. Or you're going to be stuck like the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now with the New York Jets, where we keep saying, all these traits, yet no one has figured out a way to truly actually make it work for that football player. And I think that's the problem. I think you kind of find yourselves with Jalen Milroe and his evaluation as well, is that you don't want to repeat that same situation for that young man.
No matter what we want to say, Matt, whatever you want to say, the quarterback in the NFL still coming down, in a big part about the throwing and decision-making.
Right.
That's a huge, huge part of the game.
Yeah.
The reading, toughness, size, and all this, these are great elements. But the biggest element of all is throwing that ball, making the right decision, and being dead-eye accurate. That's what you got to do.
That's right. All right, so now our boy from Louisville. Louisville, Kentucky, Tyler Shuck. How you doing? Tyler Shuck with a GH. Now, what do you think about Tyler Shuck? All right, another guy that, well, let's just face it, big guy, you like Tyler Shuck. You've been impressed with Tyler Shuck, and he really has, in your eyes, he kind of shocked you when you evaluated him on film.
Yes, he did. A couple things. Louis Riddick did some Louisville games on ESPN. Yeah. So he saw him in person, probably watched him practice and went, damn, I didn't know there was going to be this. And he's all over it. Then E.J. Manuel, who you've met a few times and know, ACC, he talked about him, in glowing terms too. And nobody just paid attention. He played for Jeff Brom, tough guy, pro offense, knowing how to do all those things. And he's, to me, if you put it all together, I think he has a little better arm than Jaxson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Mm-hmm. His mobility is real. He ran in the 4.6s at the combine, one of the few quarterbacks that ran. In fact, was he the only quarterback that ran in his group?
That I can't say for sure off the top of my head, but yeah.
But, I wish he would play with, the only thing I'll say negative probably about him is this. I wish he would get in the game sometimes and see a throw and just really just rip it and let it go. He didn't really have to do that, but I think most teams, and he is in this group, it's Shedeur, Jaxson Dart, and Tyler Shuck. Those are the three. I think they're all really, really close in talent. And I think when you all said and done, Tyler Shuck might be a little more mobile than the other two. And I think his arm strength could be just a little bit better, if that's the things you're looking for. Great size. Oh, my gosh, Matt, he's 20. He's going to be 26. He might not be. He's going to have at least 1 or 2 years in the NFL. Yeah. I see. Because I hate that. That's a stupid-ass thing to say no matter what you want. In fact, look at it as a positive. He's been here longer. He's more mature as a man. And he's gone through adversity down at Texas Tech. And when you go back and look at him play at Texas Tech, they were calling quarterback runs for him. He ran with abandon, and he was throwing it. He was throwing the damn ball as hard as he could. So it changed a little at Louisville, more refined. But as you can hear, I like him. Will he go in the first round? No, because he's Tyler Shuck. We got to get somebody big name. And the fans won't take this. And I kind of think that way. He's gotten pushed to the side, this whole thing. So what do you think?
Did you fix all your papers there by your desk? I mean,
well, no, I got them all here just because in case I can't think of somebody. Tyler Shuck got hurt down at Texas Tech. He makes it back to play the Texas Bowl. Oh, he was only the MVP of that bowl, too. So everything he did, he had to move on just because of injuries from Texas Tech.
All right, just be careful moving all your stuff around on your desk because your microphone's picking up all that stuff, and we don't give a damn. All right, so here we go. Next quarterback. All right. Oh, damn, son, you're such a pain in the ass. God. The next.
Well, wait, who were you imitating? Who is that?
That's you. That's you.
Sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, the cartoon character.
Yeah, who happens to be one of your favorite characters, which, right now I don't have the time to dissect why that has some importance in your.
The way he got a little southern, like, son, I can't. Well, I won't get into it.
Yeah, Foghorn, he's got a lot of issues. We'll like yourself, but we'll get to that stuff later.
All right, what we got?
Hey, let's go to the next guy. I got Quinn Ewers here from Texas. Okay, the old Longhorn. I want to hear, what do you think about Quinn Ewers?
Okay.
Why did that shock you, me bringing up Quinn Ewers?
Because I got somebody else before him, so that's okay.
Did you have an order?
Well, of course I have orders.
Oh, you do? Okay, well then.
Sorry,
let's go in your order then.
Quinn Ewers. Here we go.
That's right.
I feel bad for him. Plays at Texas. The damn guy, what does he do? He's got 2 injuries that I think really, really hurt him.
Yeah.
Oblique injury, which is terrible for a quarterback. And then a high ankle sprain on his right foot, which is bad too. I had one in my life, and that my ankle still hurts to this day, no exaggeration. But so that hurt his play. But when you go back and look at him before he was hurt, he was an entirely different quarterback. So I want to give him some praise for this.
Yeah.
He played beat up, but when he was really healthy, he moved around well. He looked bigger because he's now rested and he's not worried about rehab. You know how all that goes. It's terrible. And it does hurt your performance sometimes.
Right.
And he played and he threw the football with more velocity and determination, or whatever you want to say. And I remember I watched him play Alabama and Michigan, 2 really good teams, right? And when I got done playing, I went, man, if he could have just played this way all the way through, we would be talking about him in an entirely different way. And now you never hear his name. He's going to get drafted because of experience and the fact that he does make some special throws in about every game, and he's got some good experience. So tough breaks in college. And then, of course, having Arch Manning behind you does not help how you feel about your play and how you're being treated by the whole fan base.
Yeah, for sure. I think you make some great points about Quinn Ewers. I think if you watch the film, you are going to be impressed with the things that he does and the ball placement, the offense that he plays in too. He has a lot of really good rhythm throws. He has a lot of good just overall decision throws too, where you can see him going through his progression, seeing the defense clearly and making the right read. There's a lot of games too where I know we have labeled Steve Sarkisian as an offensive guru. And rightfully so. He does a lot of good stuff on offense. But if you watch the film, Quinn Ewers had to really make, I think, a lot of tough throws and tough situations where it wasn't exactly wide open, but he had to make the right read and the right decision, the right type of throw a lot throughout the year. Even the Arkansas game, to me, is one that comes to mind. That's a tight football game. That's a game they could have easily have lost down there in Arkansas. And I think he did a really good job of just kind of managing the overall feeling of the game. He did a good job of putting the football in play consistently. They were just nickel and dime them to death. A lot of the gadget plays that they had to make big explosives were not there. And he just did a good job of, I think, just making chicken salad out of what wasn't exactly chicken doo-doo, but it wasn't pretty. And right. I think that's something that was really impressive with Quinn. And then, of course, he played extremely tough and resilient against Arizona State, essentially won them the game, too, by playing clutch late in that football game. Yeah. So Quinn, a lot of good qualities to like about him. He's not going to wow you physically. And I think that's one of the things, too, that was a knock on him during the year, is that just fans started to notice that he wasn't special physically on the field compared to maybe his ranking coming out of high school and all the hype that's followed him. But he's played a lot of football. He's starting quarterback at Texas. Even though Arch is great, Sark still played Quinn when he came back, and that's because he was the most prepared and ready to go guy that gave them the best chance to win at that current moment. So Quinn Ewers, I think, definitely has a place in the NFL. Where that is and kind of what his career arc will look like, we'll see. But Quinn's got a lot of good things to like about his game. Let's go now to who I think maybe you would go to, Kyle McCord, or do you want to talk Will Howard?
Did your voice just break? Kyle McCord?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Okay. Well,
no, it didn't break. I was being funny.
No, we're doing all this. I mean, I definitely think Kyle McCord is ahead of Quinn Ewers. I do. And I think it's and by a lot. Not by a lot. I mean, Kyle McCord goes up and he gets to show off who he really is. Mm-hmm. Gets out of Ohio State. Of course, he's the only got to get rid of him because he was 11-0, but he lost to Michigan. And, they won the national championship with the best defense in college football, but he had a chance to win the game. Oh, okay, yeah, that made sense to me. So let's throw it on him. But Kyle McCord was awesome at Syracuse. He carried the football team, their school, and everything. They said it many times. Besides the head coach says number 2 is my quarterback. And they did the right stuff. Plays under pressure, outdueled Cam Ward in the last game of the year, outscored, they got it done.
Right.
And can throw under pressure, has a strong arm, throws a damn perfect spiral almost every throw. And he was the king in college football with back shoulder throws. I mean, oh my gosh. I tell you, sometimes he throws 6, 7, 8 back shoulder throws in the games. And that's part of their offense because the receivers were great at catching those.
Right.
The only thing, and your son brought this up to Kyle, and of course, we know him very well and seen him a lot of times on the practice field, a lot. But your son, or my son, your brother, said this. The only thing he complained about in the interview with Kyle, I wish you would have moved more.
Right.
And Kyle said, yes, I agree. He gets stuck on reading, going to find the right guy. Well, Syracuse, a lot of schools, no matter where you're playing, sometimes nobody's open for him. Then you move to find an area to throw in. And that, to me, that's about the only thing that you can look at Kyle and watch his play and complain about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think just the lack of evidence that we have to support his mobility or the possibility of just being more aggressive outside the pocket as a thrower, as a runner, pressuring defenses that way. You just don't see that a ton. But you do see a ton of plays where he is making really accurate throws that are highly contested. And like you're saying, too, they mastered the art of back shoulder. There's no doubt about that, too. It was also because they really weren't that fantastic at separating against some of the defenses they played against. The offense was well designed as far as just doing the things that Kyle does extremely well.
Right.
He stands in the pocket extremely tough. He does not get phased often. He throws tight spirals. He has a strong arm. You don't have enough, again, of that evidence of the suddenness or the twitchiness that maybe you see with a guy like Cam Ward, but you do have a ton of plays. And also, too, you get to see the growth in him in 2 different offenses, how Ohio State used him and how he was able to make that work to some extent, and then how Syracuse used him and how he was able to flourish in that environment with that style of coaching. So for scouts, I think they got a lot of information for that quarterback. And you're right. I think he is absolutely a career backup and a guy that does have the potential to be a starter in the league, given a certain opportunity in his career. All right. So now, big guy. All right. We went out of order a little bit.
Sorry.
Who do you have next on your list of quarterbacks you want to talk about, Foghorn Leghorn?
Well, I got quite a few left here still, but Dillon Gabriel.
Dylan.
Okay.
Yes. Dillon Gabriel.
What's the first thing I say? Let me see this. You ready? Got to put my glasses on.
Yeah.
He's taller than Bryce Young. He's taller than Tua. He's taller than Kyler Murray. So why we give him – he gets no praise or anything by anybody on TV, whatever. I don't know. 6 years in college, the damn guy, no matter where he played and what the offense was, he put up staggering numbers.
Yeah.
And me, I don't know, even whatever, no, not many people have agreed with me. I think he has plenty of arm to make it in the NFL.
Agree.
And he can change his look, but his natural delivery is really a good high release, but in the right way.
Right.
You know, you can't see me. Shedeur's release is a little bit, let me do the other arm, it's closer. Yeah. Dillon Gabriel's release is way out here and high because he rotates so hard.
Right.
But I watched him, and it's kind of like Bo Nix almost. Everybody, the arm strength. Man, he just makes deep throws down the sideline, can throw it high and far. And I watched his pro day. He's got a pretty good window there of how far he can throw it and how high he can throw it. Good decision maker, goes through the reads really fast. And that Oregon offense kind of makes you do that too, which has been good for Bo Nix. It was, and it was really good for Dillon Gabriel too. And the only game that he really couldn't do what he wanted to do was Ohio State, the second
Rose
time.
Bowl. Yeah.
Because they got manhandled. I mean, and I liked the way he played that game. He didn't go, okay, well, I'm going to try to win the game, even though we're down 30. He played smart, did the right stuff, didn't throw more gasoline on the fire. And I don't know. I just kind of like him. It'll be interesting where he goes in the draft. It won't be high because of his size and his height and all that. But when he's on the field, I'm pretty impressed watching him.
Well, we know, and just from people that I've spoken to, all that, he's a fantastic leader. He's a man's man as far as the way that he carries himself in the locker room, and a lot of people really feel confident about him in that regard. His physical talent, there's no doubt he has a stronger arm than I think a lot of people give him credit for. There's multiple examples of that on film throughout the year where he is just throwing absolute laser beams that are on fire down the field. He's a really good decision maker. He's played a lot of football. Yes, the lack of size and all that. I mean, it's difficult to kind of compare him to Bryce and all those other guys who were kind of deemed like the number one prospect coming out that year, no matter what. But overall, Dillon does a lot of really good things. And like Kyle McCord, do believe that he is a career backup, like 10, 15 years, and is also a guy, too, that, again, could also have a potentially like a Brock Purdy-like situation, too, where if he's put in a good situation like that, I have no doubt that he'll be able to handle the expectations of being the starter and making the plays and the right read and the right moment and all that. So Dillon Gabriel is a really good prospect. And yeah, curious to see kind of where he goes and who picks him eventually. Because I do think there are a group of offenses right now in the NFL that he would absolutely thrive in. And primarily them are ones that have head coaches that are former quarterbacks or come from that West Coast coaching tree.
Well, when you say that, Kyle McCord, I went through the list of every team before you and I did this, and I came up with 6 teams that their offense fits him perfectly. He doesn't have to adapt. And I think the same thing. I didn't do it with Dillon Gabriel, but offhand I could kind of go, there's 4 or 5 teams that would definitely, if they get him late in the draft or whenever, that he has a chance to come to make the roster and give him a little hope one day if he had to play that he can go in there and still be good enough to execute in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. So who else do you have now on your list? We didn't do Will Howard yet.
No, we haven't. Well, okay, well, let's do this one since he's in front of me.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard.
Yes,
Notre
sir.
Dame, great. They got to the finals of the playoffs in college football.
Yeah.
What's your thought? Give me a quickie on him.
What's my thought about Riley is he's tall, he's athletic, he's strong, he's tough as hell. We saw that for Notre Dame all year. I do think that he has the potential to be a really good thrower in the NFL. My one issue is, and you heard me say this all year, if you were seeing me, all the stuff that I do with college football, just sometimes he just decides not to throw the football. And it's like, hey, this is where the ball should go. This is the rhythm and where it should go and all that. And he just decides, all right, I'm not going to do it. And then he scrambles and makes a play and all that kind of stuff. When he plays in rhythm, you could see, all right, there's a lot of things to like. But for me, just never really played the position in a sense that gave me a huge amount of confidence to say that he's going to transition to the NFL really easily. And his game applies to the NFL level with no problem, because I just don't think that he has enough time on task with dropping back and throwing it and being a great decision maker that way as a quarterback. And again, it kind of goes back to the Jalen Milroe thing. He was such a good scrambler and such a good creator with his legs. He never really had to rely on that ability or build that part of his muscle of his game. But Riley Leonard, I think, is another guy that a good example of, if you got space from the quarterback room, want to develop a QB and kind of see if he comes through for you. All right, and then he's a good prospect for that.
What you said, all is accurate. I think it's going to be tough. I do. One, when you're like we talked about, Jalen Milroe is one thing, but Riley Leonard's kind of close to that. When in doubt, take off and run. We've seen it in the games.
Right.
And the passing never, in my eyes, got to where there was a rhythm to it, or just an execution of way we would want it, even for college. Yeah. I think, and I've done this, I'm trying to think who I have been like this, but it's too much of the rush. Watch the rush. Where can I run? Where can I move to make the throw? And Notre Dame didn't have an offense, really. Maybe they did, but they didn't use it, where there's an approach where we have guys make the right read. This guy, if you read it right, will be open. I did not see that. The throwing, I think, is okay, and I'm being kind. Mm-hmm. And, I hate to do all this and say it sometimes. I watched the games. I watched him at the combine. Yeah. And I thought his pro day really, like I said, okay, I'm convinced here. It's just, it's not NFL worthy right now. Is he worth the risk? Yes. Great kid, tough as hell, good size, got mobility. Now can we get him in rhythm a little bit? And as he watches guys, wherever he goes and where he gets drafted, whatever quarterbacks are there, he's going to go in there and go, damn, everybody can throw.
Right.
I mean, that's it, Matt. Guys on that roster, you never heard their name. They weren't in a championship game in college football, but they can throw that damn thing. So
that's right.
Some of my thoughts about Riley Leonard. Time might be on his side because of size and athletic ability and the fact that he did do what he did in college.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Anyone else that you want to go through the list?
Oh, sure. I got plenty. We did Quinn Ewers. That goes. Okay. Let's do, I don't know if he had a chance. Well, we'll make this fast. Brady Cook, Missouri.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Oh, Brady Cook for me, it had a decent year. Him and Luther Burden played better the year before as far as an offense. I think overall, just Missouri, man, a lot of hype going into the season, and just damn, it was pulling teeth, I feel like, for their offense to get going, for Brady Cook to get going. So there's moments in the season where Brady Cook, like, there's good moments, and there's like, well, what the hell happened type of moments for them offensively, and even for Luther Burden. He's got good size. He's a pretty decent athlete. He's a little stiff in the upper body sometimes when he throws and moves, and that's a big concern for me. But he definitely does have a little, attitude to him when he plays, and there's a little shit there, which I like. But overall, I just feel like, there's a lack of physical mobility when he plays that I think overall concerns me. But overall, though, I think he's a solid football player. And again, someone that is a good second or third quarterback for you on your roster.
Yeah, I don't even see him as a backup. He's got to make some transitions with the way he throws the football. Yeah. He's a good athlete. We saw that. He moves, runs pretty well. Most of his big plays came off of moving, throwing it down the field, getting touched. South Carolina.
Did you agree with me, though, with like the stiffness in his throwing sometimes?
100%.
Okay. 100%.
In fact, I'll read it exactly. Not a graceful or good enough thrower to make it in a big way in the NFL. Throwing all over the place. And I was excited to watch him because I caught him on TV a few times. I said, damn, this kid's rocked up, tough as hell, goes to the hospital, comes back.
He is scrappy as hell. There's no doubt about that.
So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I kept watching and watching. Right. I just go, this is, man, unless he kind of changed his way, his motion, you said it right, too stiff, not enough give and take in that thing. It's going to be tough. He will probably, somebody, if they don't draft him, they'll pick him up because of his athletic ability.
Yeah, right.
Look and see if he's polished it up since then.
Right.
Okay, so how about this one? I don't know. Seth Hennigan of Memphis.
Yeah. Thought Seth was a good football player.
Yeah.
Liked what he did. 6'3", 220 some odd pounds. Looks the part too on the field.
Right.
Had a lot of good throws. Definitely ain't afraid to throw it. Doesn't have the Riley Leonard issue. He'll throw it. Yeah. For me a little bit, I just think sometimes when I watch his motion and stuff like that, like sometimes I think his arm does get away from him a little bit. And that's why I feel like the ball and the accuracy at times throughout the season kind of dipped. But competitive kid, decent athlete, definitely has a little bit more give and take with his upper body than Brady Cook does, right? So you like that aspect of it. Good athlete, not a fantastic athlete, but does some good things that you can really build on. And I think a quarterback too that like you kind of said earlier, he has the ability where I feel like he could kind of adapt to any offense that he really is a part of. And I think that will be a good benefit for him at the next level is, we always kind of forget but that ability to adapt. And I do think that he's one of those players where fortunately and unfortunately, they never really established, all right, this is exactly what we are at Memphis. He'll be able to, I think, kind of fill whatever it is that they're looking for at the next level.
Well, I wrote down he's tough as hell. And it was amazing. It was two guys. When he had a nice motion, he threw the ball really well.
Yeah, right.
I like this.
Right.
And, he had a little, there was something about him I can notice even on film that, he's tough and loves playing. He's strong, got, big set of legs on him. I thought when he threw it well, he really would spin it. Yeah. And he did. The other thing he did, which I think is going to make it easier for him in the NFL, I thought he could go through reads, at a nice pace and find the right guy most of the time. So right. I did say, can he really rip it, just rear back and kill it? And that answer was no. But I thought overall, and I like to always do this column, throwing under pressure. I thought overall his throwing under pressure was pretty damn good. Yeah. He's gonna have a chance to get on a practice squad or, it's to be the third quarterback. Yeah, probably two. That's the best he's going to have.
Yeah,
in his first year. Can he make it as a third quarterback or be on the practice squad where you don't have to worry about somebody poaching him off? We'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, for sure.
That was pretty good, Seth Hennigan. All right, let's see what else. I got a couple more real quick. Oh,
yeah.
See, this is interesting with here. Graham Mertz.
Yeah.
Florida. Got hurt, played a few games, looks the part, no doubt. I forgot his injury. It's the
yeah.
It was his knee, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. But he tore his ACL. Here it is. He tore his ACL.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah. Free agent, late draft pick, whatever. I would take him and put him on there and put him on the practice squad and let him get healthy because he moves well. He's a big kid. I like his throwing motion. Mm-hmm. I think he can throw it with power would need be. I think he's, accurate. So there was a lot of things I really liked about Graham Mertz. And damn, I got to admit this too. He looks the part when he's out there on the field.
Right.
He's not afraid. Tough as hell too. I mean, gosh, he got killed up at Wisconsin. So he came down to Florida and he could hang in there. And it was a shame. I think when I saw him early in the year, I said, oh, he's going to have a sneaky good year and everything. And it was going pretty well for him. And then, of course, he got hurt, and that ruined the whole thing. But
yeah, I thought Graham was playing some good football this year for Billy Napier down there in Florida. I think he unfortunately got a little bit too much of the blame for a team that really just was kind of all over the place early on in the season, which is so typical, like September and October, like everyone kind of wanted Billy's head, but it's like, oh, well, the quarterbacks thinks all that. It's like, no, they weren't playing good football. Right. But he was doing some good things on film. I have another quarterback too, that kind of falls in that same category, even though his season was definitely better throughout the year. Curtis Rourke out of Indiana. I think another similar kind of quarterback in a sense, where like, definitely a guy to kind of take a look at and give him an opportunity at the next level, because experience, big and tough, 6'4", 220 something pounds, played through some injuries this past year, good decision maker, absolutely played awful against Notre Dame. There's no doubt about that. But overall, though, did a lot of really good things throughout the year, where you could see that he's a good decision maker, made a lot of good throws outside the numbers, down the field. And there are some good pieces there to potentially work with at the next level.
Well, he played hurt. That's a big deal. So he really couldn't let the football go the way you'd want to see.
Right.
We'll see. I didn't hear about him during the offseason. I was waiting to see if he had a pro day, whatever, and I never saw anything. And then I probably did a bad job of not hustling and asking a few people if he did have one, just so I could watch it and see what it was compared to what I saw during the season. How about this one?
Yeah.
Cam Miller, North Dakota State University.
Yes, sir.
Man, he can stand in there and throw it under pressure. He moves around well in the pocket. He's mobile, but by NFL standards, it's going to be average at best. He reads the plays. I thought he's accurate as hell throwing the football.
Yeah.
His arm, it was good. It was solid, not great. And the one thing he did, which I see more and more of these guys in college, they do it well. He throws the ball really well on the run.
Yeah.
I mean, that really stuck out to me. And, this North Dakota State, they played Montana State, who their quarterback could really run. If he had an arm, man, he would be, he'd have a chance to get drafted. But, yeah, Cam Miller brought him up. I actually said something to your brother Christopher, and he goes, yeah, I watched him. It kind of caught his attention a little bit too, but it's maybe not enough to really give him a great chance of getting on an NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a guy that's a 6th, 7th rounder, maybe even a high priority type of guy signing in free agency, right? He's 6'1", he's 210 pounds. Dude won a lot of football games, that's for sure. We know that North Dakota State plays a really good brand of football. We know that he's been coached up extremely well. 4-1 career touchdown to interception ratio throughout his career. Is he like, does he jump off the screen when you watch him? No, but he is scrappy. He is a good athlete. He can extend plays. He can create with his feet. And he is a tough kid. So I think he's another player. I'm glad you brought him up, because he definitely is someone that should be given a shot in preseason football to see if he can be a practice squad player or maybe for someone down the line. And it's so wild too. Like, we say that with so many of these kids, but just
it's okay.
The window is so damn short for them to maximize that stuff.
We should say it though, Matt.
Yeah. But you know what? His style of play fits preseason football like perfectly, because preseason football fans, for all of you out there, I mean, it's just a shit show. You're just hoping to make it work. And for Cam, I think he's gonna be able to survive in that type of environment because of the way that he's played at North Dakota State. So, preseason football might be a benefit for him.
Yeah. And when you talk about these quarterbacks, a lot of them are talking about it's kind of iffy, this and that. You go to the offseason, you get some work there, you get to be with the team, so you kind of judge yourself, and then you have enough break to understand where you got to try to get improvement. Right. And then when you go to training camp, whatever, you got to go out there every day and let it go. The team's got to see something that catches their attention.
Right.
Can you do that in practice? If you do it enough in practice, you can get away with not playing well in preseason games. But if it's the other way around, you're just okay in practice, but man, you had one of those preseason moments where you just crush it. And but the problem with that, sometimes they go, well, hell, we've seen him for 3 weeks or whatever, not do anything we like, and then he played better in the game. And people go, well, the game's more important. Yeah, I don't know if it is. it's going to work against you if it's that way. So
yeah, it depends. It varies. Some are like, hey, when the lights came on, he did great, and others are like, well, damn, it's a little too late for us in this in environment. So it really just depends on the coaching staff, and of course, you're battling not just the quarterback room, but you're battling the guys on special teams, on the punt team, on the field goal block unit. It goes on, and there's so many other pieces to it. But
hey,
other thoughts?
Quarterback, you're trying to make it. If you're a draft pick, free agent, every day it's the most important day of your life. Here we go.
That's right.
And just never give up. And I mean, just be a dog. Do whatever it takes. And so when it ends, you don't make it, you go, damn, I did the best I could.
That's right.
It's easy to say all these things, these cliches, but it's real. Be ready for every practice. And most of all, make sure you learn the plays. Don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really understand what the hell's going on there, because the quickest way out the door is to mess up the play calls, what you're doing. You're not retaining what they're teaching you. If you don't retain it, you have no chance either.
Yeah, no doubt. Big Phil said it. We want dogs, not no cats. Meow. We want dogs. All right.
I get your cat, unfortunately.
You're like that coach from Coastal Carolina. I don't want no cats. I want more dogs. One of the best sound bites of all time. All right, big guy. I think we covered enough quarterbacks for today. What you think?
Yeah. Oh, you're going in there. You want to go down to Kentucky? Is that what you want, boy?
I didn't know how far below the Mason-Dixon line I was going there, Coach. But
well, I only go to Kentucky there, big guy. You were there. You've been down there. You saw my brothers, my mom, all this. You played at Louisville, so you got a little twang.
No doubt.
I don't hear it anymore. It's over. People used to come up.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, wait, not up here. They go.
That's not true. That's not
really?
True. Yeah.
See, when I go back,
just don't say it to your face.
When I go back to Kentucky, though, I get this all the time. Man, you're starting to talk like a Northerner.
Yeah.
I go, well, I haven't been up there for 45, 46 years, so some of it's got to rub off. But
no doubt. It's
all good.
It's osmosis. The more you hang out with us, the more you just turn into a Jersey guy. What can I say?
What? I got one more thing to say. I found it. Just we talk about grooming these quarterbacks with teams and all that.
Yeah.
And it's tough, whatever. But here's the thing. Listen to this. Second chances, not second chances, but maybe we judge them too quick. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, pretty damn good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Geno Smith, pretty damn good. Look at the money he's making. What happened?
Pretty damn good.
Even Bryce Young, we wrote him off last year. I did, and he had a good year. He finished it off.
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
Yep.
Went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, but they didn't get there because of him. And let's see. So those guys. So it just shows you sometimes you got to get in there, get some experience, find the right spot. Maybe get more mature, whatever it is. And just hang in there, and sooner or later you get that chance. You take advantage of it, and these guys took advantage of second chances, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, actually, really, what you're saying too is just being a part of a functional organization, that actually helps you. So that's part of it too, no doubt. And that's where it's unfair, right? Because the game, not that it's unfair, but damn, the life and football are tough that way, and unfortunately for some of these QBs, they're not in the most optimal situations. And for others, they're in the most perfect situation ever. And you couldn't have written it any better for their supporting cast and their team and their structure and their organization and where they're at. So that's what makes this damn game so much fun.
Well, it makes it fun, but it also, nobody takes it into account enough. It's just so statistical. It's all they do. They just, it's QBR was only 80 today. And but it's crazy. Oh, yeah. Sam Darnold, he went into a great thing. It was always great with the Jets. He fumbled. Baker Mayfield, he's in Cleveland. It was a disaster.
Well, actually, he did really well, and then it became a disaster.
It became a disaster. Geno Smith, maybe some of it's his fault, but whatever. He finally got the chance, whatever. And here we go. We see Sam Darnold coming around, and look at the year he had. And Geno's been to the Pro Bowl a couple times now with the Raiders. I even hear this. Well, the Raiders need to get their quarterback of the future. Well, how far do you want them to go out to get the quarterback of the future? Just stay with Geno. And let's see how it works.
Yeah, for sure. Just build a better roster, to help your team out, to help whoever the quarterback is, and that was something too that I took away from Easter Sunday that I think is a good point too. And, Christopher said it, you reinforce it as well. Just everyone's going to try to beat the Eagles in this upcoming draft. Everyone's going to try to draft in the trenches and get their defensive line bolster up and get bigger, stronger, all that kind of stuff. The truth is though, is that yes, it's a copycat league. We'll see how many can actually copy it and make it work. Because there's drafting the guys, but they do a great job of coaching, developing them, putting them in successful positions, and helping those football players with the scheme that they run on top of that with their assistants that they have. So that'll be curious. All right, Big Guy, any closing thoughts?
No, the other thing is just about quarterbacks, the day of having patience with them, it's kind of over. It's amazing. Give them 2 years and we got to get rid of him. It's, back when I played, you had more than 2 years. If you just showed talent, they'd keep you on the team. And thank God how I played or whatever, I went in today's world. Oh my God, we got to go, we got to go draft another one. We need this, whatever. So I'm kind of thankful where I played. The only thing that makes me jealous about today's quarterbacks, one, the systems, the throwing, the screens, and of course the money.
and the rules where you actually get protected. Damn, you didn't have those rules when you played, player.
As I said once, there was no roughing the passer for years.
Yeah.
Richard Dent hit me a lot. And one day he hit me on a Monday night game. He's laying on top of me. And I kind of looked at him. I said, you having a good time? He goes, hey, man, I'm having a great time. Because he didn't care that I threw a touchdown on the play. All he knew is he killed me.
Yeah.
One of those in the air and land, he falls with me. And it was, I think that was the breaking point of our relationship. We finally got over it. He hated me.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. Rightly so, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. You weren't exactly like the other quarterbacks in your conference. You were probably talking a little too much shit to Richard, and he didn't like that.
No, but there was close. That's close to that. Yeah. It was something like that. I might have said something I shouldn't have, know, but oh, well, that's the way it is.
Hey, that's the game. That's what makes it great.
Yeah. All right, man.
Hey, Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, number one source for your betting action. Baseball season is in full swing. Home stretch of the NBA and NHL playoffs. It has more ways to get in the action, latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds from everything in MLB, NHL, UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for your online sports wagering info. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. That's all we got today for Sims Complete. We went through the whole quarterback class, and, well, there's, of course, some that we missed, but we did a good job of getting the majority of the players in. And, hey, draft can't come soon enough because I'm tired of it, man. But I can't wait to see where these quarterbacks get drafted, which coaching staffs they get attached to now. And of course, the process of these quarterbacks becoming pros with their respective teams is always a really fun thing to see.
Yep, it is. All right. Well, good job, Matt.
Hey, Phil, you the man.
All right.
Appreciate it. Sims Complete. We're out. See you next time. Toodles.
Toodles.